Hello, my friends. Since we're not going to be together today, since I'm building my AMI module, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you a little bit today about the concepts of valid and reliable in terms of testing. Now, I'm aware that this is the same Google slide presentation that's also on Canvas, but sometimes I find that it's a little easier to understand what a person's trying to teach you when you go through it with them. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and record this. Um, but the thing that I want to point out is when we talk about whether a test is valid and reliable, that's not the same as me asking you, do you feel validated? Okay, so if I say, do you feel validated, what I'm asking is, do you feel like someone hears you? Do you feel like someone recognizes you for who you are? But a test can be valid and not recognize you for who you are. I know, kind of weird, but it's true. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So whenever we're talking about a test, an experiment, a survey, any type of research, what we're looking at is if it's valid, it's measuring what it says that it will measure. So if you take a personality test, it should measure personality. If you take an intelligence test, it should measure type of intelligence. If you do an experiment that looks at whether people work out harder in the morning or harder in the afternoon, then it should measure intensity of workout, right? If it's valid, it's going to measure what it says it will measure. But if you take let's say you take a personality test and it measures your IQ, is that valid? Well, I mean, IQ is, I guess, useful to know in some cases, but that's not your personality. I mean, that can't be reduced to a number. So it's not valid because it's not measuring what it says it will measure. And so that's really important as you're looking at this. You need to be asking yourself, did this measure what it says it will measure? So if you're part of a survey that's looking to find out opinions on popular music, like what kind of music is the most popular among students at Georgia Cyber Academy, and it's asking you math questions, that's not music. So again, you need to look at if it's measuring what it says it will. That's what makes something valid. All right, it's really important also, as I said, feeling validated is not the same thing as testing validity. So if I ask you if a test is valid, I'm not saying to you, did you like the results? Did you think that it answered well for you? What I'm asking is, did it measure what it said it would measure? Okay, so I could take a personality test, let's say, and I might go through and take it, and it comes back and it tells me that I'm an angry person who's always yelling at people. Well, I may think, no, I'm not. That's not me. I try to be happy. I try to be more positive. So that I might not like the results. That may make me feel unvalidated, but that's not the same as if I say, is this test valid? Well, the test said it would measure personality. It did measure personality. Therefore, the test is valid, but I don't like my results. So that's really important to be super careful when you're doing that. So let's imagine this scenario. Here we have Herbie. Herbie is taking a personality test, and at the end of the test, Herbie is told he is shy and stubborn. And Herbie does not believe that this is true about himself. He says, wait a minute, I'm always willing to talk to other people. I listen to them. I'll change my opinion if I feel like they're right. I disagree with this test. I do not like these results. So what does this mean? Does it mean that the test is invalid because Herbie does not agree with because it does not agree with his opinion of himself? Or do you think that it means that the test is valid because it measured personality even if Herbie didn't like the results? Which one? Well, if Herbie says that he's a person who's willing to listen to others and change his opinion, I'd say he's not shy and stubborn. So let's try this one. Let's say the test is invalid because it doesn't agree with Herbie. Uh-oh. Sorry, we were wrong there. Why? Because if Herbie doesn't like the results, but he took a personality test and it measured what it said it would, personality, that means the test is valid. Now, whether or not he liked the results, whole other story. Did it measure personality? Yes. Even if you're saying, but it measured personality incorrectly, but it still measured personality, right? Okay. Now, a few reasons, possible reasons that he doesn't like those results. One may be that maybe he is a shy and stubborn person and he doesn't like to acknowledge it. Sometimes it happens. You know, I've done things where in my head I'm like, I'm not like that. And then later I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I guess I can be. So that could be it. He may have taken a computer test. Computer algorithms, they are generated to look for certain responses and then give certain feedback. It's, a human might look at this and say, okay, wait a minute, yeah, he said this, but look at question number 4 and look at question number 8, and I would change how I respond to this. But a computer doesn't always have that ability to know if question 4 says this, look at question 8, unless it says this, and look at question 9, and if it says that, look at question 17 and 16. Like, it can't always be programmed. So sometimes computer tests, they have to measure, and they're very limited in how they measure. So it's possible that, you know, that's not a good type of test for him to use. He could be neurotypical. You know, people who have neurotypical brains, for example, people with ADHD, autism, Down syndrome, any number of neurotypical issues, they may answer differently than a person who is neurotypical, and so that can throw off results. He could have also misinterpreted a question or his response to the question. You know, maybe if he went back and reread it, he'd be like, oh, that's what they were asking. I should have put this. So there's any reason why the answer could be wrong, but the test is still valid because it measured personality. So, okay, let's see if I can guide you right on this one. Here we have Herbie. He's grown up a bit. He takes another personality test. And this one asks him a lot of math questions, including geometry, algebra, and precalculus. And at the end, it says he has a C. And he's like, wait a minute. Okay, I took a personality test and it measured my math knowledge? Well, that's not personality. So I think the test is invalid. So do you agree? So we click here if we think that Herbie is right, that the test is invalid because it did not, sorry, I'm trying to move my thing. It did not measure personality. And we want to click here if we think Herbie is wrong because math is an important part of personality. Therefore, the test is valid. Well, I sure hope math is an important part of personality because that was always a bit of a struggle for me. All right, we were right. What? Yes, personality test should measure personality, right? If you're taking a math test, then yes, it should measure your knowledge of math. If you're taking a psychology test, I should be measuring your knowledge of psychology, not whether or not you did well in, I don't know, world literature, right? So again, we need to look at what does the test say it would measure, and then what did it measure? And in this case, interestingly enough, a math test is it's an example of what we call an achievement test because it measures your achievement in learning that content knowledge. So let's talk about reliability. Okay, so now we know if a test is valid, it measures what it says it will. But what does that mean, reliability? Well, sometimes we get a little confused with the idea of whether or not we find that we would rely on the results. That's not necessarily the same, again, as testing reliability. I know, it's kind of weird. So if an experiment is reliable, a survey is reliable, a test is reliable, any type of measurement tool, it's reliable if it gives similar results each time you use it. So consistency is the key that we're looking for. So if you take a test, again, I'm using personality tests because we'll be doing some soon. Then if you take a personality test and you take it again and you give the same answers or very similar answers, you should get the same or similar results. Okay? So if you take this test and the first time you take it, you say, I'm a happy, outgoing person, and you take it again and you say, I'm a happy, outgoing person, then you should end up with something that reflects that in your results, right? Of course, if you make a little change, it might make a little change to your results. So we're looking at the consistency of the test in producing results. Again, remember there's reasons why you might not like the results. You may say, I wouldn't rely on this. This doesn't describe me. But that's not what we're asking. So you have to be careful there when you're thinking about that. All right. So we want to look at the consistency. So imagine you take a survey about your habits and you take it 2 times. And in each case, you say, I've never smoked a cigarette. In that case, that survey, if it's reliable, should report you as a non-smoker each time, right? But imagine I took it a third time, and this time I said, yes, I have smoked a cigarette. Maybe I clicked the wrong button. Maybe I was lying the first 2 times, who knows? But next I'm saying yes. Should I get different results? Well, I would hope so, right? It should recognize, hey, first time she said she didn't smoke. Second time she said she did smoke. Now we would label her as a smoker or a past smoker or something like that. So if it's reliable, it should change if you change your answers. That's really key. If you change your answers and it doesn't change, then I'd be worried about that test, right? But it should change if it's reliable because it's about consistency and going with the same type of answer each time, depending on what you tell it. So let's imagine here we have Herbie again. You know, Herbie likes to go through a lot of changes. He's taking a survey about his workout habits. He says he works out twice a week. Go Herbie. And the survey says he is moderately healthy. So he takes this survey again, and he says, I work out twice a week. He doesn't change any answers. But this time, he's told he is extremely healthy. So same answers first time as second time. And Herbie's like, well, I didn't change any of my answers, but I got different results. What does this mean? So click here in the yellow if you're thinking the survey is unreliable because it gave different results to Herbie without him changing his answers. And click here, pink, if you are thinking the survey is reliable because it measured what it said it would measure, workout habits. Gosh, that sounds familiar, right? Measuring what it says it would measure. Yeah, I think I'm going to try the pink one. Uh-oh. I was wrong. Sorry, you guys. When you're talking about reliability, you're looking at, does the research return consistent results? When you're talking about validity, validity. That's when you're talking about, does it measure what it says it would measure? So if Herbie gave the same results, and he should get, or he gave, sorry, let me try that again. If Herbie gave the same answers, then he should get consistency in his results, right? So the problem is that it's not reliable because he got inconsistent results. Okay, let me try this again. Sorry, guys. All right, Herbie in a new form. Once again, Herbie is taking a personality test, and the first time he takes it, he marks that he likes being in social groups. Cool. His personality is measured as outgoing. The second time he takes it, he changes his answer. He marks that he prefers to spend time alone or with 1 or 2 people. So the second time around, his personality as measured as introverted. So Herbie's kind of confused. He's like, well, I gave different answers and I got different results. So that makes the test unreliable, right? I changed my answers, I got different results, so that makes it unreliable. So we want to click in the yellow if we think this test is unreliable because it gave different results each time Herbie took it. Click the pink if we think the test is reliable because it should give different results if Herbie changes his answers. Well, I mean, he changed his answers, right? We wouldn't want to get the exact same answer. I mean, likes being in social groups, that's different from prefers to spend time alone or with 1 or 2 people. So that should be measured differently. So I'm going to go with the pink one again. Woohoo! We got it. Yes. And we have Black Panther bowing to our knowledge. All right. So Herbie did change his answers, so he should get different results. That makes the test reliable because it did give him different results. It's just like if on a math test, if 1 + 2 = 3, and that's what you put the first time, and the second time you say 1 + 2 = 4, okay, well, you changed your results, so one of those should be right and one of those should be wrong, right? Honestly, if that test didn't change, that would be more worrying to me. So let's go to the end here, my friends. Hopefully you're feeling pretty good about the concepts of validity and reliability. You understand that valid means that research measures what it claims to measure. So you're looking at what did it say it would measure, and did it actually measure that? That's valid. And reliability has to do with the consistency of the research in returning results based on your sameness or similarity of answers. So if you answer something and you answer it the same way both times, a reliable test is going to give you the same response, right? If you change your answers, it should change responses. But if you take the same test twice and you answer it exactly the same way both times and you get different results, well, that's when you're going to say, that is not a valid test. All right, my friends, I hope that this helps you guys out understanding the concepts of valid and reliable. And I look forward to seeing you guys next class, which is tomorrow. So have a great day.